Thanks for staying with us. And if you're just tuning in, welcome to the Amy Jo Show at Corner for Success. My next guest is Mr. Antonio Fargas. Antonio has had an enviable career as an actor. Back in the day, he starred in such movie greats as I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, and he was a regular on Starsky and Hutch. And if you've been watching television lately, you have most likely seen him starring in Chris Rock's very popular sitcom, Everybody Hates Chris. Today, we're catching up on some further projects with superstar Antonio Fargas. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. We've been working on this for quite some time, haven't we?
Yeah, we met at the restaurant and then at other various functions, and we keep saying we're going to do it, but then I had to go to Europe to do a play and then some other things, and I'm just getting settled in here in Las Vegas, but I was really anxious to, to come on the show and talk about what I'm doing today.
Talk about you and who you are. And we also have another guest with us. And young man, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Byron Stringer.
Okay. Well, Byron, before we get to your part, we're going to cut Antonio up in little tiny pieces and dissect his life.
I'll help you.
In a very nice way.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Well, first of all, your name goes without saying. Does it bother you when people call you Huggy Bear? Do they see you on the street and say, Huggy Bear?
Yeah, that is the going moniker, is the Huggy Bear. But I also realize some people who have followed my career in part of this 46 years that I've been doing it, when they call me Doodlebug or the Arab, that means they go way, way back in some of my earlier film things. But television is a very powerful media, and I realized that we did something special, the Starsky and Hutch folks, and it really was the time that things happen in your life, like a lot of people I meet say they were 9 and 10 and 12 years old when Starsky and Hutch was happening, and now they're parents or going on even being grandparents, and they just have a fond memory about that character and that show.
Yeah, well, I was only 9 or 10 months old when I...
There you go.
I never try to own up to that age thing. But that's kind of funny because people do probably remember you from different points in your career, so then you know how long they've been a fan, right?
Yes.
That's very funny. Yeah. But you've had a lot of exposure. You started out when you were 14 years old, and you did your first film at that age, and then you went on, done a plethora of things, and I think one of my personal favorites was I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. That was hilarious.
See, now that's when people call me Fly Guy or they're talking about the goldfish in the shoes, then I know it's mid to late 80s when I got on the Antonio Fargas thing.
Yeah.
And that's been I've been very blessed to be in some memorable projects over the years, like Car Wash and Next Stop Greenwich Village and Pretty Baby, and then quote blaxploitation films like Cross 110th Street and of course now with I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, it was sort of a putting to bed of all of those images, and Keenan Ivory Wayans, the director, was very, very astute in terms of finding the comedy edge in all of that.
Right.
And it's been another really sort of milestone in my career. Even Eddie Murphy sat behind me at the premiere and said that's the funniest thing he's seen, and people remember that because of the pathos of that scene. You want to cry, but you also have to laugh at the conviction of this guy who believes he's still happening and he's merely a dinosaur.
Yeah.
And so it was, but when playing it, it's just, you don't think about those things because you're into the character, and I'm a character actor, and I like getting into character. And even when I did Car Wash and I played a gay role, and everybody's cutting their teeth on saying that they're proud to be doing, homosexual role because it makes them good actors and all that. And I was part of a book called The Celluloid Closet about actors who played in gay roles, and like Some Like It Hot and all those other things, and to be mentioned with some of those actors, who are the forerunners of some of the stuff that's going on today.
So do you ever feel typecast when you started out? But I mean, you've had huge successes now, but at that time, did you feel like you were just stuck there? And did that bother you? Were you happy to have that opportunity?
I get that question asked a lot, and I always I always try to equate it to, well, would Jimmy Cagney or Clint Eastwood be unhappy about doing the same kind of roles or being in a genre? And because I'm a character actor, I feel very blessed that I've been able to bring a variety of different characters within a genre and still be able to feel like when I go on stage and I do other things, my commercial television and film credits are focused in exploring black images of people in our neighborhoods that sometimes, you know, we as intellectuals or elite black leaders say, well, you know, we, you know, playing drug addicts and, you know, and informers and all of that stuff. But my thing is that I think it's very important to me to be spot on about the character so that when people say that's real or they believe it, because I have a conviction and a love for every human being, and I have a conviction and love for every character that I play, and I don't get into the social commentary of it.
Okay.
I just want to be true to the character so that I'm true to those people that I represent.
And doing that job at that time, no matter what character you portray.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
very good. And I think that's the way all people should feel. If I'm here at the radio station, I should do the best.
That's
in this
right.
capacity.
If you're a waiter, I hope you want to be there waiting on me and doing the best waiter you can. You know,
I
and
agree.
that's, you know, so I hate people who are unhappy at what they're doing, because then they should be doing something else.
Okay, that's what that transition is about. That's why this show is about success, because individuals like yourself that come on the air and share pieces of your life, other individuals listening are impacted, they are empowered, and they hear that and they say, wow, I didn't know that about him. And you know what? If he could do that, I could do that. So no matter what our story is, no matter where we started in life, it's like, what did we do with that life? And that's what I try to do each day, is to share the pieces of your life with everyone else so that they can better their own.
The greatest joy is to see that when people see my commitment to a character, and then they realize that I'm a human being behind that who's made artistic choices. I try to make it look easy. We are, when you're good at what you do, it looks easy, but when you try to do it, I tell people you have to study. I studied. I just didn't walk off the street and start playing these roles. I had a lot of technical background, you know, and support, and able to be able to do that. And then you plug in the talent to that.
And so where does the talent part come from for you? Now, I know you started very young, and I'm going to ask you a few questions about young Antonio, but where does that come from?
It comes from being sensitive.
Okay.
And that's why a lot of people in our business are sensitive people. And if we didn't have this kind of entertainment, we would probably be institutionalized or whatever it is. But we are in a place where you're sensitive, and you have an opportunity to put that sensitivity into an art form. And you know, and then also for me, it's about surviving. That's why I love, you know, the characters in life, the people who are the edgy people, the people who are taking chances, like bank robbers, and you know, and even drug addicts and prostitutes and all of that. Those are the people who my empathy goes out to, as well as my say yes. But the only thing is, if you can do something with that kind of conviction, and be not antisocial but pro-social, that's the betterment of it. But for me as an artist, picking characters I wouldn't want to play a lawyer. I'm not interested in lawyer. I'm not interested in being Mr. Huxtable. I'm interested in those people that we encounter every day in the street who are survivors. And so you take the sensitivity of a young man and you put it with him trying to survive in a tough world, growing up with 11 children in New York City, and being a dreamer, and then, you know, through the grace of my mother finding an ad in the newspaper where I did a film called The Cool World at 14, and I found a family. I found my gang. I found my comfort zone, because I was with a lot of other unusual people in a business that gave of themselves, that got naked on stage metaphorically, and shared themselves so that they can make other people better and say wow, just like you were saying.
Okay, you heard it right here on the Amie Jo Show. And I haven't heard that expounded in that way about you. So thank you so much for sharing it, because, I mean, you're getting naked right now.
Thank you
right
for
here
bringing
on
it
the
out.
air.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
I love that. So your interest came simply from an ad, and it wasn't something that you sat and watched television?
Well, not at hindsight is 20/20, but